funded technical institutions, central universities. I also extend a warm welcome to Honorable Education Minister, Honorable Minister of State Education, Secretary to President, Advisor to PM, Chairmen of UGC, CT, NCV, Chancellors and all central funded technical institutions and central universities, all other officers who are present here at Rashtrapati Bhavan and those who have joined us through the conference. I welcome all of you to the 6th edition of the Award and Visitors Conference 2022. It indeed is a great honor. I would like to welcome all the key speakers of the conference, especially Mr. Nunzio Coccarelli, who has been kind enough to accept our invitation to the conference. Further, I congratulate all the recipients of the Visitors Award. I'm sure this award will motivate and encourage the best minds in our country to undertake the research activities and provide solutions to the problems in key sectors such as climate change and environment, sustainable energy, artificial intelligence, and big data. I wish that the award continues to build the competition among central institutions and motivate individuals to adopt best practices from around the world in the pursuit of excellence. The Visitors Conference comes at an opportune time as India is approaching the 2nd anniversary of the National Education Policy 2020. As we enter into Amrit Kal for the next 5 years, NEP is going to be the torchbearer in realizing India's vision in 2047. Therefore, elaborate sessions have been planned on topics such as the role and responsibilities of higher education institutions in this period, international ranking of higher education institutions, collaboration between academia, industry, and policymakers, school, higher and vocational education, and finally, education and research in emerging and disruptive technologies. All of our central institutions have taken various initiatives on the above areas. They have also been aggressively pursuing the agenda of transformation by starting implementation of NEP 2020 in right earnest. Most are creating examples in respective areas to be emulated by all other institutions. I also take this opportunity to congratulate all of them in their role of becoming a lighthouse for their area. Honorable President, sir, we assure you that the Ministry of Education, along with UGC, AICT, and NCVT, under the effective guidance of Honorable Education Minister, proactive approach of the Vice Chancellors and Directors, will make efforts to take all our institutions to the pinnacle of glory. We look forward to a meaningful deliberations during the conference towards this end. Thank you, sir. So, with your permission, I would now like to request the Honorable Education Minister, Shri Dharmendra Pradhan, for his opening remarks.
नमस्कार। परम आदरणीय भारत की लोकप्रिय राष्ट्रपति महोदय, मेरे सहयोगी मित्र सरकार जी, भारत की राष्ट्रपति महोदय जी के सचिव आदरणीय त्रिपाठी जी, माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के सलाहकार आदरणीय जी, सचिव उच्च शिक्षा, हमारे बीच में आज अतिथि के नाते उपस्थित मान्यवर नुंजियो, प्रेसिडेंट क्यूएस रैंकिंग, सारे हायर एजुकेशन इंस्टीट्यूशंस के आदरणीय वाइस चांसलर, डायरेक्टर्स तथा सभी महानुभाव, मैं आप सभी को इस महत्वपूर्ण 2 दिवसीय अधिवेशन में स्वागत करता हूं। आपकी इस 2 दिन की जिस प्रकार की प्रसंगों पे माननीय राष्ट्रपति के मार्गदर्शन के साथ अन्य विमर्श होगा, निश्चित रूप में आने वाले के लिए हम सभी के लिए एक पथ्य होगा। मित्रों, हम एक विशेष परिस्थिति में एकत्रित हो रहे हैं। 2 साल प्रत्यक्ष सम्मेलन, कोरोना की प्रकोप के कारण हम आयोजित नहीं कर पाए थे। हम 2 साल के उपरांत में एक दो सुखद जानकारी भी हम लोगों के सामने उपस्थित है। पहली बात, उच्च में हायर एजुकेशन में ग्रॉस रेशियो की बढ़ोतरी, विशेष करके समाज की वंचित वर्ग, अनुसूचित जाति, अनुसूचित जनजाति और विशेष करके युवाओं की पार्टिसिपेशन बढ़ी है। मैं और एक विषय के लिए माननीय राष्ट्रपति जी का प्रारंभ में आभार प्रकट करूंगा। ये कोरोना की प्रकोप के उपरांत शायद सबसे ज़्यादा प्रवास किसी डेस्टिनेशन में माननीय राष्ट्रपति जी का हुआ होगा तो शिक्षानुष्ठान में हुआ होगा। न केवल हुआ, भारत की सामाजिक जीवन में, पब्लिक की डोमेन में कुछ उच्च परंपरा भी आपके मार्गदर्शन में शुरू हो गई है। जब मैं कहता हूं कि हम एक चैलेंजिंग पीरियड में एकत्रित, उसके साथ साथ कुछ शुभ अवसर भी हमको मिल रहा है। आज अमृत महोत्सव हम मना रहे हैं, अमृत का प्रवास हम लोगों की शुरू हुई है। विश्व की परिस्थिति जब कोरोना से बाहर आ रही है, विश्व की राजनीति में काफी उथल पुथल भी हो रही है, जिसके कारण विश्व की अर्थनीति, विश्व सामान्य लोगों की जिंदगी चुनौती भरा समय में गति कर रहा है। उस समय में भारत जैसे बड़े देशों के ऊपर दुनिया की, विशेष करके इमर्जिंग इकोनॉमी की बड़ी अपेक्षा से नजर है। और कोई भी सभ्यता की, कोई भी देश की शिक्षा उस समाज की, उस की प्राण होती है। आज विजिटर्स कॉन्फ्रेंस में हम देश की चुन शिक्षा विभाग की नेतृत्व एकत्रित, आज की परिस्थिति के बारे में चर्चा करने के लिए, काल की रोड मैप बनाने के लिए, 21वीं सदी की रोड मैप बनाने के लिए भारत जो मसौदा बनाएगा, जिसके बारे में राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति में हमारी राष्ट्रीय नेतृत्व, माननीय राष्ट्रपति जी हो या माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी हो या तमाम संघीय व्यवस्था की नेतृत्व हो, सामूहिक रूप में जो सपना दिखा है, उसी मसौदा के नाम है राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति 2020। उसको भी 2 साल हो गया है। और कौशल्य, एजुकेशन एंड स्किल, दोनों की मिश्रण से आज एक नई इकोसिस्टम बनते हुए है। दुनिया आज नई चुनौती में घुस रहा है। एक किताब में इन दिनों में पढ़ रहा हूं, जिसमें यह उल्लेख किया गया है, इनोवेशन, डिसरप्टिव टेक्नोलॉजी, एआई और मशीन लर्निंग के नाम पे इमर्ज कर चुका है। ये रोजमर्रा की जिंदगी को प्रभावित करता है। उस समय में समाज और प्रश्न के साथ इस समूह को देख रहा है, उसमें मनुष्य की भावना कहाँ खड़ा हो रहा है। ये भी तर्क आप जैसे विद्वान कर रहे हैं कि शायद एआई और मशीन लर्निंग मनुष्य की भावना को भी क्लोनिंग करके भावना को भी रिप्रोड्यूस किया जा सकता है। इस समय में दुनिया कहाँ जाएगी, दुनिया की रोजगार क्या होगी, दुनिया की नई रोजगार क्या क्या आएगी, ये देश की आम जनता को मालूम नहीं है महानुभाव। ये सभी हम ही लोगों के ऊपर उस दारोमदार न्यस्त है, हमारी ऊपर ये जिम्मेवारी है। 130 करोड़ की ये देश इस विजिटर्स कॉन्फ्रेंस को बड़े अपेक्षा के साथ देख रहा है। देश के विद्वान जब एकत्रित हो रहे हैं, जब अमृत काल की शुभ अवसर पे एकत्रित हो रहे हैं, 21वीं सदी की 2 दशक उपरांत एकत्रित हो रहे हैं, और जब प्रधानमंत्री जी ने आह्वान किया है 2047 की सपना हम कलेक्टिवली दिखे, उस समय में इस बैठक की महत्व और बढ़ जाती है। आइए हम सब मिलकर इस 2 दिवस की अधिवेशन में हमारी वर्तमान स्थिति को ध्यान में रखते हुए दुनिया की इनोवेशन नया व्यवसाय की ढांचा, नया औद्योगिक क्रांति, ये सभी के पृष्ठभूमि में नया दुनिया कैसे बनेगा, उसमें मनुष्य कहाँ खड़ा होगा, उसमें मनुष्य की भावनाएं कहाँ रहेगी, पॉजिटिविटी कैसे रहेगी, ये सारे चुनौती शायद शिक्षा विभाग के पास है, आप जैसे विद्वानों की कंधे पे हैं। मैं आप सभी को इस 2 दिवसीय अधिवेशन में पुनः स्वागत करता हूं। हमें माननीय राष्ट्रपति महोदय जी का दिशा दर्शन मिलेगा, हमें उनकी मार्गदर्शन मिलेगा और हम आने वाले कुछ घंटों में कुछ प्रमुख विषयों पर चर्चा करेंगे और उसकी कुछ कलेक्टिव मसौदा भी, हम एक सामूहिक निर्णय की ओर हम लोग जाएंगे। फिर हमें माननीय राष्ट्रपति जी का अंतिम मार्गदर्शन मिलेगा। अभी जो आने वाले दिनों में हम लोगों के लिए पथ्य बनेगा। आप सभी को बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
Now may I invite the Honorable President for his inaugural address.
Thank you. Union Minister of Education and Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, Sri Dharmendra Pradhan ji, Minister of State for Education, Dr. Subhash Sarkar ji, Chairman of University Grants Commission, Professor M. Jagdish Kumar ji, Chairman All India Council for Technical Education, Professor Anil D. Sahasrabuddhe ji, Chairperson of National Council for Vocational Education and Training, Dr. N.S. Kalsi ji, Vice Chancellors of Central Universities and Directors of Institutions of National Importance, officers from Government of India, ladies and gentlemen. I always look forward to the Visitors Conference as it deals with the future of the youth of India and thereby with the future of the nation. This is the aim of higher education and it makes the conference especially significant. I am happy to learn that we shall be joined by a few alumni of some of our prestigious institutions of higher learning who continue to support their alma mater for improving research and innovation. I recall that we had discussed various alumni initiatives in earlier conferences. I am glad to see that their involvement as stakeholders is growing. I have been aware that the Minister for Education, the Minister of State for Education and their colleagues at the Ministry have been deeply involved in planning this conference and the agenda reflects their efforts. I must appreciate the efforts they have put in. When the agenda for this conference was shown to me, I was impressed by the thoughtfully conceived and very pertinent topics covered in only 5 sessions. This agenda reflects the policy focus of the ministry. I was happy to see that Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, commemorating the glorious history of India's freedom movement, finds a place in the opening session. Our institutions of higher learning are central to this, as our young citizens are not only the inheritors of the past, but also the ones who will be leading India into its next golden age. Institutions of higher education have a major responsibility of transforming the impressionable youth. For this, we need to address their aspirations as they are future leaders in various spheres of life. I can say with confidence that each one of you is going to help achieve this goal. The extraordinary growth of India in recent times would not have otherwise been possible. I am sure you will continue the good work. While talking of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, it is important to mention that the national education policy, while looking ahead, has not forgotten the wisdom of the past. In tune with the government's priority of making affordable, quality education accessible to every Indian, the Ministry of Education has also focused on quick implementation of the NEP 2020. I am happy to note that a number of steps have been taken towards the implementation of NEP. As many as 13 Indian Knowledge System Centers have been opened across the country. Books have been published in 12 Indian languages with introductory chapters on Indian knowledge traditions of the respective subjects. I have been informed that the initiative has been so popular that already 404 internships of 2 months have been granted. At the same time, 36 research projects have been sanctioned along with 6 special projects on digitization and text mining. These initiatives will be of immense help not only to research scholars but also to anyone curious about the vast treasure of knowledge accumulated from ancient times in India. In order to achieve our larger goals, improving the quality of institutions of higher learning is of vital importance. We should be setting benchmarks for the best in the world. Mr. Nanjio Kwakarali has so kindly joined us to share his expertise in the ranking of institutions. I am happy to note that this year 35 Indian institutions have been ranked in the Kwakarali Simmons RQS ranking as against 29 last year. In the top 300, there are 6 institutions this year as against 4 last year. I am especially happy to note that the Indian Institute of Science has got a full score of 100 on the research parameter and shares this distinction with 8 highly reputed institutions of the world, including Princeton, Harvard, MIT and Caltech. I congratulate IISc Director Dr. Kovind Rangarajan and his team for this achievement. While talking about quality of education, I will again refer to the National Education Policy. In fact, the previous conference was focused on this policy. To improve the quality of education, we should also consider sophisticated and innovative learning approaches. The key to achieving excellence is to harness the transformational benefits of digital technologies for enriching the teaching and learning experience. Digital technologies are expanding the boundaries of education. When the pandemic threatened to derail teaching and learning, technology ensured continuity. There were difficulties, no doubt, but it is good to see that all of you imparted teaching and conducted assessments, evaluations, and research uninterrupted. We can build on that experience now and make classroom sessions more interactive, giving students a thorough understanding of the subject. Educators and academic experts should consider this when they prepare the curriculum and other policy initiatives. Ladies and gentlemen, the NEP, though recent in its inception, has already allowed our institutions to forge a new and vigorous path. Few of us here could have imagined organizing multiple courses at the same time, mixing subjects across streams, or doing parts of programs for both Indian and foreign universities. In order to promote academic collaboration between Indian and foreign institutions, the UGC has issued regulations allowing joint twinning and dual degrees. These initiatives under the NEP have unshackled higher education from the constraints it suffered earlier. One of the highlights of the NEP is that it allows for multiple entry-exit for flexibility and lifelong learning. This, along with the academic bank of credit on the DigiLocker platform, makes it possible for students to study as per their convenience and choice. I am happy to see that 383 institutions of higher education have registered for ABC and over 10,000 students have opened ABC accounts. The NEP promotes multilinguality in education and testing to ensure that any lack of competency in English does not impede the educational progress of any student. With this objective in mind, states are publishing bilingual and trilingual textbooks at the foundational level, and the content on the Diksha platform has been made available in 33 Indian languages. I am certain that this will go a long way in the democratization of higher education in India. Ladies and gentlemen, whenever I dwell upon the subject of the NEP, I always reflect that a growth polymath like Jagdish Chandra Bose, the biologist, physicist, botanist, and writer of science fiction, would have appreciated the flexibility and access to knowledge that it promotes. I am sure the NEP will pave the way for many more Jagdish Chandra Boses in the future. While one cannot deny the importance of pure sciences, for a country like India, the importance of utilizing research into socially and economically relevant outcomes cannot be ignored. Therefore, the agenda item on collaboration between academia, industry, and policymakers is highly relevant. There are a number of such initiatives in India working both ways, taking the benefits of research to the market and also bringing the expertise of the market to academia. Moreover, the AICTE, INAE visiting scholarship schemes brings the expertise of the market to the institution. The Department of Science and Technology provides for the aptly named industry relevant R&D. I am sure the discussions during this conference will provide us with a better understanding of this area and also help in further policy development to facilitate the same. Questioning accepted beliefs and flowing against the tide has often been the basis of human progress. However, in an era of unprecedented technological strides, it is not just individual brilliance but also the systems of support that facilitate such progress. It is a pooling of human intelligence that has led to this fluid environment. When I noted the topic, education and research in emerging and disruptive technologies, this was the thought that crossed my mind. I am sure our discussions here will enhance our understanding of this very relevant aspect of higher education. I must return to the initiatives under the NEP here. I have been informed that in order to encourage an ecosystem of startups and innovation, nearly 2,775 institutional innovation councils have been set up in the higher education institutions in 20 states and 6 union territories. I am sure this will go a long way in promoting the aims of a socially relevant partnership between the institutions of higher education and the industry. I have also been informed that our efforts towards building a culture of innovation have started showing results and India's ranking in Global Innovation Index has significantly improved from 76 in 2014 to 46 in 2021. However, in order to improve the culture of innovation and entrepreneurship in India, we need to encourage the filing for patents and streamline the process for it. We will surely hear more on the challenges faced by the institutions with regard to the achieving many of the goals set for higher education in India. I understand that many of the challenges faced cannot be resolved by the institutions alone, and they need policy level changes or support. In that regard, I am aware that the Minister and his team are proactively addressing the structural issues to ensure a conducive environment for the growth of higher education. At the same time, as I always suggest, by simply adhering to timelines, the institutions can overcome many issues such as shortage of faculty. In fact, I would be happy to hear how robust the visiting faculty systems are in your institutions. Similarly, I am also interested in knowing how programs like LEAP are progressing. Without taking anything away from your role, I would say that nature is the best teacher before us. Just as nature ensures a connected and continuing growth process through life, so too must education, providing essential life skills as one grows up. Integrating schooling and higher and vocational education, which is part of this conference's agenda, reflects just this aspect of nature. This is again something that the NEP has been focusing on. The system should educate in a way that not only enhances knowledge but also provides the skill to live a fulfilling and useful life. School lays the foundation, but this must lead a student to higher or vocational education meeting both aptitude and aspirations. I am sure the discussions here will help us understand how to achieve what nature does so effortlessly. I feel the importance of this topic as each of us has been through phases in life where what we study and what we aspire to or need appear disconnected. I am sure the discussions today will pave the way for reducing such dissonance. Before I conclude, I must once again acknowledge the pertinence of the topics chosen for the discussions. They reflect the potential that we hope to realize. I am sure the discussions will be of a higher order. I am also sure all of us present here and those who are connected virtually will gain immensely from these sessions. The proof of the utility of this conference will, however, be seen in the actions taken and the results thereof. I wish the conference success. My best wishes are with you in all your endeavors. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, sir. We are very grateful for the time you have given and sharing your thoughts and giving the guidance for the way forward, as well as for the encouragement that you have given. So with your permission, we would like to continue the next session, beginning with a presentation by Professor Jagdish Kumarji, Chairman UGC, on the topic Roles and Responsibilities of Higher Education Institutions in Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. So we will be facilitated with observations and moderation by Professor Sudhir Jain, Vice Chancellor of BHU. So with this, I'll request Chairman UGC.
Thank you. Honorable President of India, Sri Ramnath Kovind ji, Sri Dharmendra Pradhan ji, Dr. Subhash Sarkar ji, and all my distinguished colleagues here. In a brief presentation, I would like to explain to you how the higher educational institutions are playing their role and responsibilities as we celebrate Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav across the country. As you know that India is celebrating the 75 years of progressive India. We are celebrating the glorious history of come out with a number of reforms since the introduction of the National Education Policy 2020. One of the important reforms that I would like to place before you is the introduction of the academic band credit. As you know, the ABC will facilitate the mobility of students across the higher educational institutions. It will provide the opportunity for students across disciplines and to acquire various kinds of qualifications such as degrees, diplomas, and certificate programs. And ABC will provide the opportunity for the students to store their credits irrespective of in which mode of learning they are earning these credits. UGC has also recently issued regulations permitting the students to do 2 academic programs simultaneously. If a college has a daytime degree and also an evening degree, it is now possible for the students to do both the programs simultaneously in a physical form. Students can also do a physical mode of degree while they study in an online mode for an additional degree in a related or a completely different discipline. And those students who are unable to go to a university or a college physically, they can now do 2 online degrees simultaneously. And in order to internationalize our higher education, which is an important reform in our national education policy, we need to first prepare our higher educational institutions in order to handle the admissions of international students and also in order to handle the life and the education of the students in our HEIs. Therefore, UGC has issued guidelines to establish international affairs cells in each university, and we are in touch with many universities. As you can see, already 179 universities have established an office for international affairs. Sir, as you rightly said, alumni play an important role in the growth of higher educational institutions. Unlike in IITs, in the university systems, we do not have a very strong alumni connect cell. UGC has taken the lead in talking to the universities to establish the alumni connect cell. Already 157 universities have established these cells. Sir, you have mentioned about the twinning, joint degree and dual degree programs. This is one of the important regulations that UGC has announced recently. And as part of twinning, the students can do up to 30% of their credits in a degree program in a foreign university. And if the students do more than 30% of the credits required for their degree in a foreign university, then they can get either joint or dual degree. We have recently contacted more than 600 international universities, and we have also written to the ambassadors of the countries in which these universities are located, about 63 ambassadors. Sir, I'm happy to inform you that already many universities are writing back to us, indicating their serious interest to collaborate with the Indian higher educational institutions to start the twinning, joint and dual degree programs. We are also planning to call the educational officers of these foreign embassies in India, and I am personally visiting the ambassadors of these countries to explain to them how we can collaborate and start not only the twinning programs, even the offshore campuses in India. Recently, sir, you might have seen in the media the introduction of the common university entrance test for admissions in the undergraduate programs, and later we have also announced the CUET for the postgraduate programs. Across the country, there has been a very, very positive agreement to the introduction of the CUET. The students are extremely happy now because unlike in the earlier years where a student had to get 99% or even 100% in their board examinations in order to secure admissions in our higher educational institutions, now even a student who gets lesser percentage has an opportunity to work and get admission in the universities of their choice. UGC has also taken several other initiatives, and one of them is this SWAYAM, Study Webs of Active Learning for Young Aspiring Minds. And this provides a lot of flexibility to the students to enroll in different programs and different courses. Already we have more than 7,000 courses in SWAYAM, and close to about 2.72 crore students have enrolled. We have issued about 11 lakhs of certificates to the students. This is one of the important aspects of the NEP, providing greater access to high quality higher education to our students at an affordable rate. In fact, all the courses in SWAYAM are free to, for the students to register. They have to pay only a nominal fee when they write the examinations for these SWAYAM courses. Sir, as part of the providing greater access to our higher education, we have also introduced SWAYAM Prabha, in which 34 free-to-air DTH channels, they continuously air high-quality higher education programs, and these are also available on our SWAYAM Prabha portal. Sir, one of the important aspects of the national higher education policy is to take the education to the doorsteps of the students. There are so many students coming from our rural background and remote areas, and also from socially and economically disadvantaged sections. Many of them may not have the means to come to a university in a city and educate themselves. And as part of providing the online education to every student, including the socially and economically disadvantaged sections, we have introduced the online distance learning mode and online education. And I'm happy to inform you that lakhs of students are benefiting through these programs. We already have more than 1,000 ODL programs, and 353 online programs which are available to the students at a very affordable cost. And we are also coming up with simplified online regulations, because soon we will also be establishing the digital university, on which UGC has already started by forming a committee. The committee is looking at the technical architecture and the administrative architecture for the digital university, and what kind of programs can be offered in this digital university, so that our students will have the opportunity to gain skill and knowledge set in order to prepare themselves for the future. The digital university is going to function as a spoke and as a hub and a spoke model, and our online regulations, which we are going to announce soon, will facilitate many of the best institutions that are in India and also abroad to be part of the spokes of this digital university. And the digital university will not only offer programs in different disciplines, not only in English medium, but in several Indian languages too, so that students can become creative and innovative by taking these courses. We will also be introducing several innovations as part of the digital university, whether it is in terms of the evaluation of the students or providing internship opportunities for the students, and also making the employers part of the digital university, so that the students who are passing out of the digital university will meet these employers, and then a matchmaking takes place so that their career advancements are also taken care of as part of the digital university. Sir, one of the important mandates of the National Higher Education Policy is to improve the quality in our education. One of the important things that we have done recently is to announce the National Higher Education Qualification Framework. I am happy to inform you that the National Higher Education Qualification Framework is in tune with the technical education, which is monitored by the AICTE, and also the skill education. And it is in tune with the National School Qualification Framework too. So now we have in our country a uniform qualification work which provides immense opportunities for the students to be mobile from institute to institute, from discipline to discipline. They can enter a program at any given level, they can exit at any other level, and this will provide enough opportunities for the students. And sir, recently we have also written to the universities, and we have come up with the guidelines for the universities to introduce the multiple entry and exit opportunities for the students in the academic programs offered in the higher educational institutions. We have also introduced the choice-based credit system in the higher educational institutions, but we have introduced the vocational courses also as part of the general education, so that the students become skillful as they are educated in the choice of their disciplines. One of the important aspects of the National Higher Educational Policy is to transform our higher educational institutions into multidisciplinary educational institutions. We have come up with the guidelines on this aspect, and we have also informed the higher educational institutions how, by forming clusters, by bringing different colleges offering multiple disciplines together, how they can become multidisciplinary institutes. UGC, sir, will not only issue these guidelines, we will handhold the higher educational institutions, and we will make sure that the regulations and the guidelines that we have been issuing from time to time are implemented on the ground. One of the important things that we have realized is that creating awareness among the educational institutions, among our stakeholders, is very, very important. And in the recent past, we have been conducting dozens of online webinars and interactions with our stakeholders, and we also take their feedback and inputs in order to fine-tune the regulations and the guidelines that we have been announcing in the recent past. Sir, as you know, the PhD programs play a critical role in terms of the research outcomes of the universities, and recently we have also come up with the improved version of the regulations for the PhD degree program. I will not go into the details of each of these regulations, but however, I would like to inform you that UGC has 8 inter-university centers, and in the recent past, we have added 2 inter-university centers as part of this group of 8 inter-university centers. One of them is the Inter-University Center for Teacher Education in BHU campus. Sir, as you know that in order to impart high-quality education, it is important that the teachers are trained not only in the pedagogical approaches, but also in using the modern technologies in order to create an ecosystem, both inside the classroom and outside the classroom, to make our students creative and innovative. The other center that we have introduced in Bengaluru is the Inter-University Center for Yogic Sciences, and we are working on this. Soon, this center also will become functional. Sir, the backbone of our the academic programs and the research programs in the universities is the fellowships and the scholarships that we provide under various research schemes. We provide different kinds of scholarships and fellowships, sir, at the UG level, PG level, and at the PhD level, as you can see, for encouraging the undergraduate education in the northeastern region of our country. We provide 10,000 scholarships under Ishan Uday special scholarship programs, and at the postgraduate level too, we provide a large number of scholarships. And at the doctoral level, sir, UGC NET, JRF, and CSIR UGC NET JRF scheme, it provides close to about 9,400 slots. I would like to draw your attention to one of the important fellowships that we provide, that is the Single Girl Child Fellowship. And I'm glad to inform you that every single girl child who is willing to do a PhD gets this scholarship. Sir, I would like to conclude here because of the sparsity of time. There are also other initiatives that we are going to announce in the coming weeks, several postgraduate level programs, and also support to the young faculty who are joining the higher educational institutions, and several such things that we are going to announce. And to end, sir, we are also focusing on encouraging the study and education related to the Indian knowledge systems. Recently, the Commission has approved to introduce a paper in the Indian knowledge system. We have also introduced in UGC NET, we are introducing a paper in Indian knowledge systems, and also we have introduced a paper for Hindu studies program in the UGC NET. I am glad to inform you that more than 5 universities are already offering MA program in Hindu studies. And there are various kinds of guidelines we issue, sir, from time to time. I will not go into these details, but I am proud to inform you, sir, that our higher educational institutions, the faculty, staff, and students have risen to the occasion in spite of the difficulties that they have faced during the COVID-19 pandemic. They have continued the academic programs, they have continued the examinations and the admission process, and I would like to inform you as a regulator that I feel proud that our higher educational institutions are performing very well. Thank you, sir. I would like to conclude here.
Honorable President of India, Honorable Minister of Education, Honorable Minister of State for Education, senior academic leaders, academic administrators, senior officers of the Government of India. We have had very thorough and enlightened presentation by the Chairman of UGC and several very interesting initiatives UGC has taken. I'm sitting next to the Education Secretary, and he put in my mind a question, where should we be in 25 years? And sir, I would like to propose 3 ideas. One, we need to go back to basics where our teachers and our students are fully engaged, where our classes are fully held and our students are not only learning from the lectures that the teachers are given, but they are doing their homework assignments and they are getting feedback from the teachers. Our university system has to go back to the basics in terms of educational experience, which is holistic for the student to learn. Sir, the students need to not only learn the subject for which they come to the university, the physics or the philosophy or the engineering or the medicine, but I think there should be a broader purpose of the education, and that is something that we should strive to build for next many years. To my mind, a student should come to the university, and the university should try to prepare the student to have an aspiration to make a positive impact on the society, on the country, on the civilization. Just aspiration is not enough. The student should have the motivation and should have the capability and the competence. And when it comes to capability and the competence, not only the subject knowledge of the physics or the philosophy or the medical science that the student has come to learn for, but in order to make the positive impact on the society and the community, the student needs values, the attitude, and the life skills. And we in the university have a tremendous responsibility to engage our students outside the classroom so as to impart in them not just the subject in which we will be holding their examination, but also to inculcate in them the values, the attitude, and the life skills. Sir, we take tremendous pride that many of our alumni from Indian universities, Indian institutions, they today are leading academics around the world. We take great pride that many of our alumni of our university system or institutions are leading business leaders, technology firm leaders. But sir, we need to also think about how and when we could start to see our PhDs of our institutions being the leading academics around the world. My contention, sir, is that we, Indian universities, must aspire that our PhD students must sit on the high table of the academic leadership around the world. And to my mind, we must start to measure ourselves, not only in terms of the patents, not only in terms of the research papers, not only in terms of the H-index and the impact factors, but also if you were to start to look at what our PhD students are doing, where are they going? If I were to say that PhD students of one particular university are today being employed as a faculty member in the premier institutions, there is something right that the university is doing to train the student. And therefore, I would imagine that we need to be a little bit more creative, perhaps, to see how we can focus on our PhD students. How can we provide them the opportunities? For example, there could be an opportunity where the well-performing students could be allowed to spend 6 months or 1 year in some of our national laboratories or our premier institutions in order to gain diverse experiences and to enhance their research. These are some of the thoughts that I had in mind. Professor Jagdish Kumar was a little conscious about his time, and I was watching my watch, and I thought my watch was wrong. But I think he finished his presentation much sooner than his allotted time. And supposedly I'm the moderator, so I'm giving Professor Jagdish Kumar the first option if you would like to expand on any of the items. Otherwise, the floor may be open to others to ask any clarifications from the UGC chairman. It's not very often that vice chancellors get to ask such questions to UGC chairman in the presence of the President of India. Thank you, sir.
Sir, if you permit, I will add a couple of more things that I wanted to inform you, sir. We talk about industry-academia interaction. But however, to facilitate that, both the academic institutions have to understand the challenges of the industry, and the industry has to understand what are the capabilities of our academic institutions. In order to facilitate that, recently UGC has decided to work on introducing the professor of practice in our universities Soon we'll be coming up with appropriate regulations or guidelines to make this a possibility. The other one, sir, I was emphasizing, taking a cue from you about the access. There are many people in the country who are working professionals who would like to improve their knowledge and skill set. And the open universities are playing a key role, such as IGNOU and several other open universities which are opened by the state universities. But one of the challenges of opening the open universities is the land requirement. Our regulations say that you require a minimum of 60 acres of land to open an open university. But recently, UGC has taken a very conscious decision to reduce this area to 5 acres of developed land. So we hope that many open universities also may come up with this new regulation. And also, sir, not only we would like to bring the foreign universities into our country, but we also would like our Indian universities to establish offshore campuses. In order to facilitate that, UGC is now working on regulations which will enable the top quality institutions in our country to open the offshore campuses. So these are a couple of things that I wanted to add.
If I may invite anybody to share any thoughts or ask questions.
Rashtrapati Mahoday. Yesterday itself, in the ICT, we launched a program where 1 crore students can be given skills which are digital skills, which are going to create employability as well as entrepreneurship. Honorable Minister of Education was the person who launched yesterday itself, and I'm sure that we must work on internships, employability, entrepreneurship, and that's what we have been driving this all along.
Any other comments? Yeah, Professor Sitaram.
Sir, namaste. I'm Sitaram, Director, IIT Guwahati. Sir, recently, under the advice of the Minister, we conducted a Northeast Research Conclave, where a large number of universities from northeastern states participated, institutes, the centrally funded technical institutes, as well as other institutes of higher education participated, and more than about 12,000 students participated in the exhibitions. We had 300 plus, and both the Honorable Minister for Education was there with us and guided us to take through this, and also our Sarkarji was also there, Minister of State for Education. Sir, this has actually imparted a lot of the ideas about the higher education in the northeastern states. So we have come together with 35 institutes to form a sort of a cluster university concept under the guidance of the Secretary, so that we work with the institutions who have facilities, infrastructure, but they do not have a award of PhD degrees. They are now tying up with some universities nearby. So instead of that, IIT could be a source for them to work with them. This is one I thought I'd share with you, sir. Thank you.
Any other? Yes.
I have Professor B.S. Murthy, Director, IIT Hyderabad. I have recently come across a student at IIT Hyderabad who has done about 200 credits, though the institute demands around 125, 130 credits as a part of the BTech. He has just entered into final year. So every semester he has been taking extra credits and has been doing exceedingly well. He has more than 9 CGPA. Whereas our education system to a large extent says the degree is number of years based. We should be able to enable a person, the moment a certain number of credits are completed, be able to give a degree to that person. I think this is something I request UGC to look at it, MHRD to look at it, even AICT also to look at it, if there is a possibility. There are brilliant students all around us, and they are simply waiting for them to complete their 4 years of degree to be able to get the degree certificate. I think sooner or later, people are not going to see the degree, but only the skill that the students have. So I request this to be considered by the learned gathering here. Thank you very much.
This is Professor Alok Chakrawal from Guru Ghasidas Vishwavidyalaya, Chhattisgarh. In line and in tune with national education policy, this is my humble submission, Honorable President Sir, that we should implement experiential learning from the very beginning, and we have started doing it at Chhattisgarh. And we have started a kind of abhiyan, Swavalambi Chhattisgarh Abhiyan. And under this Swavalambi Chhattisgarh Abhiyan, we are ensuring that each and every student will start working from the very first semester, and by that the student will be having experiential learning, and we are ensuring that a student should at least have 50% of the experiential learning, and this will make India a Swavalambi India, self-reliant India. Thank you very much.
Vice Chancellor, Pondicherry University.
Namaskar, sir. I've been advocating all through that right now to succeed in all our endeavors, we need to start sharing of our resources. We have very rich libraries in most of these central universities, and we are paying a lot of amount every year to get the access to e-resources. Now, if we start sharing these resources with the other universities, like state universities, I think this will go a long way in promoting our ideas. Then not only here, sharing of high-end equipment is equally important. Why should every university be buying expensive equipment when somebody has it? And in that block, all universities can share those equipment, and these days it is not very difficult to do that. So we need to think on those whereby we can form groups and start sharing our resources in the best of ways to succeed in our programs. That is how we look at it. Thank you.
Right. Yes.
This is Professor Vidyut Chakrabarty, Vishwabharati. I just would like to raise one point which is peculiar to universities like Vishwabharati. We have departments like Sangeet Bhavan, Kala Bhavan, Shilpo Sadan, and there you will find people who are excellent in music, excellent in art, but they don't have papers in terms of H factor or higher impact factor. So I would like to request UGC to develop a different kind of yardstick to assess the qualities of this teacher, because they cannot be assessed in terms of teachers having papers with high impact factor. So we have difficulty, especially in NIRF ranking or NAC ranking, we sometimes don't get enough marks, to be elevated simply because most of our qualified teachers in Sangeet Bhavan or in Kala Bhavan or in Shilpo Sadan, they cannot showcase their ability or their capacity simply because they don't have papers which are conventionally required for higher NIRF and NAC ranking. So this is the problem. I think UGC should look at it, because this is also the problem which MH University Baroda, that is a very good department of painting and arts, they also have the same problem. So I would like to request the UGC chairman to look into this matter so that our talented teachers, do not get disappointed because of this conventional way of assessing teachers' quality. Thank you.
So I have one other suggestion for UGC. I'm a director.
Switch on the mic, please.
I'm Director IIT Ropar, and I have a suggestion for UGC, because following the question raised by my colleague here, that the institution, especially the universities and colleges, if you want to promote research there also, we should have a common library policy for whole India, especially for these universities and colleges, so they can have access to the good quality journal. How they can publish in a good quality journal when they don't have any access? So we should make a common policy on the country level, especially UGC should forward this idea, because some of the institutions cannot afford those journals. So we have to help them in the smaller universities and colleges, so their teacher can do also research. So this is my humble request to Chair UGC, that they should look in this matter sooner is, I think it will be better if you want to create research in culture also in the colleges and universities. Thank you.
Professor Jagdish Kumar.
Thank you, sir. I would like to respond to some of the queries that my colleagues have put. In the recent past, we have also started a new program where we sit on an online platform and ask any question to UGC. And anybody across the country can ask the questions and we answer them. And we also meet the vice chancellors quite frequently, and they do give a lot of feedback such as the ones that you have given. As far as the sharing of the research equipment across the universities, we have already started working on building a portal on which all the universities can put the information about the equipment that is available, and the students across the country should be able to reserve a time slot for this equipment and use. And I'm sure once that comes into existence, it will help our students. And as far as the flexibility of completing a degree program in less than the specified period, well, many of these innovations are going to be part of the digital university. And as far as the physical universities are concerned, please do appreciate the fact that all the universities are autonomous. Your statutory bodies can brainstorm on these aspects and then introduce any such flexibility to the students. And in terms of providing access to the library resources, my friends, we already have InflipNet, which is the inter-university center under UGC, which has enormous resources, electronic resources in terms of the journals and e-resources that are available. And thousands of students are already using these resources. And recently we had a meeting under the chairmanship of the Cabinet Secretary about one nation and one subscription. So we would like to introduce many of these measures in order to use the resources that are available in our universities and in the country. Thank you, sir.
We might have more time for the questions. Yes. Professor Kovind.
As far as equipment resource sharing is concerned, for a long time there is ISTEM. IIC is also driving it. Dr. Chidambaram, then Principal Scientific Advisor, had started this initiative, and many institutions have joined that, and therefore sharing of equipment resources is already ongoing. It's not that many people are not aware. We should make it more and more people to be aware of it. It's one part. As far as NIRF ranking is concerned, each category of institutions are different, and therefore assessment of those institutions is done slightly differently. But if there are further modifications required, suggestions are always welcome, so that applied art, craft, music, they may have a different requirement than science, technology, may be different from humanities, so we will do it.
Director IIC Bangalore. Thank you. You must switch on the mic, please.
Thank you. I would like to talk about one important program which has been introduced recently, the Integrated Teacher Education Program. Without, I think, training excellent teachers, at the school level, the country is not going to move forward by a great amount as far as science and technology is concerned. So therefore, that's an excellent program, and IIC is, we think that leading institutions should take part in this, and IIC has applied under this ITEP program to start an integrated BSc B.Ed program. So we are going to start a 4-year BSc B.Ed program, and we hope that institutions like us can set an example by which excellent teachers for schools are trained. Thank you.
Sir, we had very good conversation and very good questions, and I think it was a very enlightening session. Thank you to UGC Chairman and to all the colleagues.
So we have come to the conclusion of today's session, sir. So now we can stand for the national anthem, sir.